21,778 feet above the ground. Stories between the Himalayas, home of the mystery Lord Shiva, Mount Kailash, which means crystal in Sanskrit. This not an ordinary mountain. According to Vishnu Puran, this mountain is made of ruby gold and lapis lazuli. Mount Kailash is around 2 crore years old, and in Hinduism it is believed that the entire world is being operated from this mountain. Many years ago, during the 5th century, daughter of King Daksha, Sati, fell deeply in love with Lord Shiva against the will of her father. Lord Shiva is the Indian god of destruction. He doesn't discriminate between anyone. That's why Lord Shiva surrounds with all kinds of energy, the light and dark. Shiva often have ghosts and vampires near him. Kailash Parvat is as pure as cemetery to Lord Shiva. It was not at all acceptable by King Daksha to meditate in cemetery and to be surrounded by ghosts. So Sati married Shiva by going against the will of King Daksha and started living happily on Mount Kailash until one day, King Daksha called all the gods to Ging except the god of destruction, Lord Shiva. Hearing this, Sati became very upset, decided to confront her father, and in anger, Sati went to the yajna. She stood in front of her father and demanded why he did not invite her husband. After hearing this, King Daksha insulted Lord Shiva a lot in front of everyone, and Sati could not tolerate this insult. After hearing the insult of her husband, she sacrificed herself into the Ging. After the painful death of Shiva, he was in grief and started his Tandav. Shiva, full of anger and pain, destroyed everything while performing Tandav. In extreme anger, he expressed himself and started skinning his head after Sati's death. Shiva became so sad that he started living in Patala among the evil spirits in the form of Mahakal Bhat's god, until one day, all the gods gathered together and told Lord Shiva that Sati will born as Parvati one day. Waiting for Sati's new birth, Lord Shiva went back to this Mount Kailash. When Sati was born as Parvati, Shiva and Parvati remarried, and it is believed that both of them are still meditating on Mount Kailash, meditating for 21,000 years. In 2016, NASA clicked a satellite picture of Mount Kailash and it showed the face of Lord Shiva on top of Mount Kailash. Kailash is known as a spiritual center of the world. From here, North Pole is 6,666 kilometers and South Pole is exactly double this distance, which is 13,342 kilometers away. And in Ramayana also the exact location of this axis is specified. According to Uttarakhand, as in Holy Ramayana, to show the might of demons and to prove a point, Ravan once decided to shake and uncap the sacred Kailash, the heavenly abode of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva once crushed Ravana's forehand when he attempted to lift Mount Kailash. Then Ravana started to praise Lord Shiva and begging to forgiveness. Ravana made Lord Shiva so happy that he started dancing wildly and passionately, and this dance is known as Tandav, and the chants became known as Shiv Tandav Stotteram. Mount Kailash is located close to two important lakes like Lake Mansarovar and Lake Rikshastal. Lake Mansarovar is considered as God's lake water that is considered most holy and pure. On the other hand, Rikshastal is also called Demon or Devil Lake. Rikshastal is the lake full of paranormal story. Ravana, the demon king of Lanka, he wanted to prove his devotion to Shiva and wanted to get powers from him. Ravana has 10 heads. And to prove his dedication to Lord Shiva, Ravana started cutting his head one by one under Kailash. On cutting Ravana's head, the land of Kailash was filled with blood. As soon as Ravana started cutting off his 10th head, Lord Shiva saw the dedication of Ravana and Shiva gave him the powers. But at the place where Ravana's blood was present today, this Raksha Tal, i.e. Demon Lake, is there today. It is also called Ravana Tal or Ghost Lake. It is said that if a pilgrim goes to this lake and does not be respectful, then this lake can do anything to a disrespectful pilgrim. They can fall dangerously ill. Researchers says that these problems are mostly because of the water from the Ghost Lake, which is extremely salty. But the legend says that this Ghost Lake is visited by spirits of people who did not have good karma, and their anger, pain and resentment can still be felt. So everyone is advised to stay away from the Rikshastal. Kailash Parvat is a mountain that has never been climbed before, but in history there were two people who climbed the Mount Kailash. One was Milepa, who was a Buddhist monk, was able to reach the top of Kailash Parvat, and before that the Yudhishthira, biggest Pandav. In 3102 BC the world entered the Kali Yuga, the time that is supposed to be darker than ever. This was the time when first nuclear war on this planet Kurukshetra had just ended. In the Mahabharata 18-day war between Kaurav and Pandavas, 3,918,888 soldiers were killed. After this war, Kalyug started. After winning the world's most aggressive war, Pandavas ruled for 36 years on Hastinapur but never found peace. In search of peace and salvation, the Pandavas went to climb Mount Kailash, knowing from experience that Mount Kailash is the way to heaven and heaven can be reached by those who has never done any bad thing. Draupadi and the 4 Pandavas died one by one while climbing the difficult climb of Mount Kailash, but only Yudhishthir reached alive in the end. He got heaven and salvation. What's really validating this that according to a research conducted in February 2022, Yudhishthir's frozen body can still be found on Mount Kailash's glacier. With him one more person was there, the god of death Yam, who decided to send him to Swargalok or heaven. It is said that Yam, the god of death, still guards the Mount Kailash and protecting it from people with bad karma. While circumambulating Mount Kailash, pilgrims first need to cross the Yam door. Crossing this door is like taking permission from the god of death and asking for his mercy. Yam door is the gateway for making the entry into the heavenly abode of Lord Shiva. It is said that whenever a pilgrim crosses Yam Dwar, he should not turn back to see the door. To cross the door is similar, showing respect and gratitude to Lord Yam, and looking back means pilgrim is disrespecting Lord Yam and his presence. Looking back at the Dwar can bring extreme bad luck to the person. Such a person can face mishaps in life and during his yatra. Kailash is not only considered in Hinduism but in fact Mount Kailash have a strong significance in Jainism and Buddhism. Hindu pilgrims circumambulate this mountain in clockwise direction starting from the south face of the mountain. It is said that humans take many births and one circumambulation around Mount Kailash is equivalent to one cycle of living life. Hindu believe that with this yatra they can attain salvation and liberation from the cycle of life and death. On this mountain time travel differently. Pilgrims, when they come back from Kailash Yatra, their nails and hair grow very rapidly inside 12 hours and their growth is equal to 2 weeks growth. Life becomes like fast forward. It is believed that the climbing of Kailash is difficult due to its steep structure. Mount Kailash looks like a pyramid, so it may be that it is not a natural mountain, but an advanced pyramid built by an alien civilization 2 million years ago. Now it is believed that Mount Kailash is not a mountain but an ancient man-made pyramid and must be alien-made pyramid. People spotted sparkling multi-lights coming from mountain, and Kailash travelers say these lights are actually UFOs coming like mountain. Quite aliens and UFOs have been spotted by the pilgrim on Kailash. On the other hand, Hindu devotees believe that these lights are visible in Brahma Muhurat, which is between 3:30 am to 5 am. In Hinduism it is considered a divine time and say that at this time, many gods and goddesses descend on Kailash from heaven, divine way, and creates lights called Divya Jyoti. Lord Shiva plays Damru and do Tandav. While sleeping at night, even today, we can hear Dumru playing sound at Kailash. In Hinduism, Shivji's drum and his Tandav represents major destruction. When Shivji plays his drum, he can destroy the entire earth. There is such an energy in the mountain that if it wants, it can destroy the whole world at any time. Kailash is more than just a natural mountain. This mountain moves and changes its position. No one is able to climb this mountain is also because Kailash Parvat is not constant and it keeps moving. Many trekkers observe it changing their path while climbing, and those trekkers start climbing wrong way sometimes. It is believed in Hinduism that Lord Shiva will block your way if your deeds are not clear, because one impure person or someone with bad energy can affect the mountain's pure, powerful divine energies. Climbing to the top of Kailash has been banned by the Chinese government because of security reasons. In fact, because Kailash is close to the borders of India, China and Nepal, drone photography on this also banned here. Travel and parikrama is still possible, so would you like to go on this trip? Is it in your bucket list to go to Mount Kailash? Please subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos from Om Sanatan.